This is awesome.
Oh, Clark, hey. Good to see you among the living, man. Check it out. It's the latest talent mix.
Thanks, Pete.
Good to see you all among the living. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talon Mix. It's a Smallville recap podcast. I'm Brian. My co-host Zach is here. Smallville.
Yes, a watchable show.
A watch.
Smallville. That is the word for this season so far. Watchable.
And we haven't. It's not always.
No. It's funny watching it this time going through. It's interesting, kind of examining the way that we reacted to it the first time it was on, or like the public reacted to it, and then kind of why it's different now. And I think the reason that people and you and I were against this season so much when it was airing is because it is unbelievably stupid.
Oh, yes.
Like really stupid. But for whatever reason, at this point in my life, I will take stupid over boring any fucking day of the week.
I do think in a certain time and place in our lives, boring was more serious. And that was, for some reason, better.
Well, yeah, it's that whole early aughts, mid aughts thing of we want people to take this seriously, take this stuff seriously. And now, in our age now, it's like, no, don't do that.
It's fucking comic book shit. And then that's also met with a solid over a decade of they took it real fucking seriously for a while.
And the thing is, whether it's serious or not is not what that doesn't determine if it's good or not. So it could be serious and be great.
Right.
But oftentimes it's not. It's serious and boring and shitty.
I feel like the trajectory has been, hey, comic books are a legitimate storytelling medium and they should be treated as such. And now some time has passed. I'm like, okay, well, yes, but it's still a comic book and it's okay to have fun.
Yeah. It only goes so deep, okay?
They got like 4 colors in there, man.
Right. But so this season, aside from the first 2 episodes, which were just appallingly awful, the last one and this week, I'm not saying they're good, but it's watchable and it's not boring. I'm interested in what's going on.
I had a very pleasant hour watching this episode.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know what the fuck else I should want from my TV. It's like actually no real serious complaint. I mean, we're gonna have plenty to make fun of, but like,
we will pick some nits,
right? Of course, but oh man, I take this over some of the other crap we've gotten in
the gloom. Yes, thank goodness we're out of Lana Lex purgatory, at least for this episode.
At least for here. We'll see how long this streak of I don't know, it's not bad goes.
Yeah, I didn't want to kill myself episodes.
Before we hop into action, it's the 5th episode in the 7th season of Smallville, the 137th episode overall. It aired on October 25th, 2007. I would like to welcome everyone to the inaugural segment of the Talon Mix that will be every week from here on out, which is Brian tries to get Zach to watch Severance.
Severance. I've heard it's good. I hear good things.
And this is Zach. You are the conduit, just generally right now for everyone. Because I think the show's only issue is that it's on Apple TV. If this was on,
I don't have Apple TV.
And the truth is, I'm not telling you have to go pay $14 for Apple TV right now. I understand it. What I am saying is that the day will come where you will text me, fuck, you were so right about Severance, and I hope it's fresh in my mind to talk about it with you. I hope, Zach.
I'm used to being almost a decade behind on these kind of things, so I just watched a movie I was way behind on called Upgrade, which was a blast.
I loved Upgrade.
Yeah, and it's not like a masterpiece.
No.
I'm like, when people say they don't make movies anymore, they're talking about that. That's a movie.
That's a movie, man.
For all its flaws, that's a fucking movie.
and it's you can have a bunch of flaws, just be like fun for a lot of it.
Be a movie, have a story, and it's not a preview for another movie.
Right.
It's like a it's
Just
a
just roughly around 20 minutes into the movie, an inciting incident happens, and
Yes,
a character is thrust into an adventure, and then
Mhm.
they wrap it up by the end.
There's a resolution.
Yeah.
There's a resolution.
Pretty cool stuff.
Anyway, Severance is. I have to watch
Severance.
Severance.
Okay, if you're not familiar with this, where have you been? But it's on Apple TV right now, and it is a sci-fi conspiracy type of thing mashed with workplace comedy. Strong word. But it's the most excited I think I've been for a show like this since Lost. I am not making
wow.
that comparison lightly.
See, that's the thing that scares me is because I that's a commitment to get sucked into it, invested in a show like that.
Luckily, there's only like 20 episodes total. It's the first time. Why I'm so excited about it is, the way you and I talk about Smallville, that's kind of how I interact with my television shows now and my movies now. I think about pieces on the board. I think about what we're doing. And like the making of is very much part of my enjoyment. And that's just the way things are now. Severance is the first show in a long time where I'm like, what's happening in the fictional world of Severance?
Yes, yeah, that means it's good. That means you got a
Just
good one.
Completely, utterly lost in it. And man, if you aren't watching it, it's really good. And that's it. It's not actually going to be a weekly segment where I just say that every week, but I'm feeling it.
Every once in a while, there's something on Apple TV I want to watch, and it's just a bummer because they just don't have enough content for me to spend the money regularly.
No. It's
Gorge,
terrible.
I would like to watch The Gorge. I would like to watch The Gorge.
Right.
I would go see it in the theater if it was in the theater, but it's not.
If Severance was on HBO, this would be the most talked about show, period. I think it's got all
sure it would.
It's got all the pieces to be a huge everywhere smash hit. And it's on Apple TV. Who the fuck cares?
They don't have a big library, man.
No.
And they're producing stuff, but it's not like Netflix or Disney Plus or one of these places where there's a ton of shit.
Right.
Because I've had a free trial of it before, and it's like it's only the stuff that they make, which is great, but that's not enough.
All right, great. So there's one good season of Ted Lasso. Congrats.
Right? Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
That's the other thing I wanted to mention with Severance. So the way Severance worked was it was a pandemic production, and it came out, and it's only 10 episodes that first season, and then it took 2.5 years to get a second season out. And the first season ends on a fucking crazy cliffhanger. So 2.5 years, I think I've been waiting for the second season. And you hear Ben Stiller is, he didn't create it, but he's very much kind of showrunner on it. And you hear some really like diva stuff maybe from it. He was very, he wanted to reshoot a bunch of stuff. He wanted to rewrite a bunch of stuff. All signs that when you hear that, you're like, uh-oh. They went way over budget for season 2. So the fact that, well, whatever he was pissy about, he was right, because it's just as good, if not better, than the first season. Like, oh my God, I'm so into this fucking show.
Yeah. Rather you take your time and get it right,
Right. So that's it. Severance, you should probably watch it. The royal you should probably watch it.
Okay, and then this is a new segment called Zach tries to get Brian to watch Red Rooms.
Yes. Shit, we might watch that tomorrow night. Tell them about Red Room.
Oh, it's just that is not, you're not an audience surrogate, because I would never recommend that to people I don't know. It's a very fucked up, disturbing movie. But I know it's up Brian's alley.
I know.
I'm pitching it to him.
I know. It keeps popping up on Letterboxd. I'm like, right, fuck, I need to see that.
It takes a minute to get going.
That's all
so
good.
Be ready for that. But I don't know. I think you're gonna dig it. I did. It crept up on me. I was like, I'm not sure I feel about this. And then there's a moment in there that I found bone chilling.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to see it. Let me know what you think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to try to watch that tomorrow. Shit yeah. I don't know. While we're on a what we've been watching tangent, any other thoughts here? I'm watching a.
I was just gonna say I've been watching all the old Next Generation Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh
movies.
yeah, I've been seeing those pop up in your letterboxd.
Yeah, they're fine. They're almost like TV movies, but like
yeah.
a little bit. And that's not an insult. I didn't mean it that way. It just for whatever reason, the production design of those movies it's like it looks like a laser tag place. Like a lot of the Star Trek, the original series Star Trek movies, they look like Hollywood movies more.
Right.
Whereas the Star Trek Next Generation movies, the set design or whatever, it looks like the TV show kind of.
Right.
I don't know whatever the aesthetic is. It's like it looks like fake. It doesn't look like lived in. I don't know.
I guess I think that kind of tracks, right? In that Star Trek was a show that everyone watched. It ran in 3 seasons, ran in syndication all the time. You had 3 stations. Neither of my parents are particularly into sci-fi. They know all of the basic Star Trek stuff of you know, you could pass a basic Star Trek quiz. I think everyone from that generation can. Once you then take the leap into the next generation, you're probably able to do the studio is able to do a little more math here of we're gonna make movies exactly for people who watch this TV show, and it's gonna be marketed to them, and it's just gonna be completely sold to them. And we're gonna use existing sets from the TV show.
I think they did. Yeah, they must have used it. And I say that as someone with the exception of the last one, Nemesis. I think all of those movies are fun. They're good. I give them thumbs up. But that was my only thing I noticed. I'm like, this is kind of cheesy in the way it looks. But I started watching the show too, so we'll see how that. I've never like done Next Generation before the show. I saw the movies in theaters, but I never did the show. So
okay.
Kind of like, and I'm not going straight through. I just kind of here and there picking some.
Yeah. That's I know it'll be there when I'm ready for it. I catch an episode every now and again on Pluto, you know? I like the original series kind of in the same way my parents do, of like, it's usually a pretty good hour of television, right?
Yes, totally.
Next Gen, I have a buddy who's desperately trying to get me into Deep Space Nine. He has a recurring segment of, have you watched Deep Space Nine yet?
You know, on most lists of what is the best Star Trek show, that's either number 1 or number 2.
That is, he's shown me episodes, and they were very good. They're very good. Just, you know, I'm not in it. You can't always tell when you're not in it, you know?
Yep, totally. Totally.
But I'll get around to it. I do love that model, of that straight to syndication model. I do think in the age of the streaming TV show, I do think it's beautiful of this is just going to be aired and whatever. We just made a whole bunch of them. Do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Yes.
There was Star Trek The Next Day, for if you don't have any idea what I'm talking about. Basically, a TV show traditionally might be on 8 o'clock at ABC. And that's how the show gets run. And then eventually you package up enough of those to hopefully sell off to smaller networks to run whenever the fuck they want. Star Trek The Next Generation skipped the fucking middleman. Look, we made 30 of them. You want them?
I mean, that's smart if you know that people are going to be there for it.
And what they actually did for Next Generation that is wily was everyone wanted the Star Trek reruns, the original series. You couldn't have the original series reruns unless you also bought the season of the Next Generation. Smart motherfuckers.
They should package Seinfeld with something.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't do that more.
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess what's happening with TV networks anymore.
Right, I guess it doesn't matter now.
Speaking of Seinfeld, I've been watching a little. I'm kind of on an old sitcom kick. I can't imagine why I'm feeling nostalgic and a desperate need to not.
not be living in the time.
not be
we're
living
Yeah,
in
I
the
have no
time in
idea.
which we are living.
No idea. That's so weird.
But I've been watching some old Seinfelds while doing the dishes, and man, holds up, really good, really good.
Funny show. Funny show.
I've always liked it. I've always caught it in syndication, right? And like, yes, of course, Seinfeld, good. I was always more attractive 20-somethings in New York guy. I always preferred a
Yeah.
Friends. Now that I've done 30s in New York and I'm now post that part of my life, Seinfeld's a little more like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. So good.
So good. All right. Should we get into the recap of this episode, or do we have any other thoughts?
Yes, let's do it. I'm
Great.
chomping at the bit to talk about Smallville.
Great. At the Kent farm, a movie crew from Hollywood is rehearsing a scene in which a masked and caped figure flies in a stunt harness. Chloe Sullivan and Clark Kent are watching from the sidelines. Chloe says it is exciting that they are making a Warrior Angel movie in Smallville. She also tells Clark that since she and Jimmy broke up, she's had time to create a fake identity for Kara. Just shoved in as quickly as I did right there.
Right. Well, and also, Kara's not even in the episode, so it doesn't really matter.
No Kara in this episode at all. Just a quick little... there's that piece on the board.
Don't worry about it.
Right.
Yeah.
When's the last time we've heard Warrior Angel?
Yeah, it's been a while. The Warrior Angel is essentially the Smallville equivalent of Superman, meaning not like Clark is Superman, but like the fictional comic character of Superman. Basically, That's what Warrior Angel is. There have been plots in the past of Lex was a comic book nerd obsessive about the character Warrior Angel and the villain Divilicus.
Right, of course.
Oddly, there are parallels between Clark and Lex and Warrior Angel and Divilicus.
So
I don't
crazy.
know if you noticed that.
So crazy. Do you think they knew that when they wrote it?
They lucked into it.
Yeah.
Speaking of stuff that bothered me the first time I watched this season, I remember being very annoyed by the idea that Clark would allow a movie to be shot on the farm.
It's pretty
weird. Thinking like that is so stupid. And like nowadays, this time I'm not gonna blink. Who
fucking cares?
Who gives a shit? Yeah. Who gives a shit? But that's one of those things where I was like, that's stupid. That is really stupid.
I imagine that bothered me more because I still got that dog in me, like a little bit of like it's still piped up of like, this is not smart, my guy.
No, real stupid.
But also, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, right.
Do you want to have a reasonably fun episode of this TV show? Yes, I do. Then shut the fuck up. Well, if we're going to get a good episode out of it, hey, whoa, we didn't say good episode.
Good, yeah. Whoa. Put that thing away.
We see the film crew here. And there is I cannot say this for sure, but I would say I'm 90% positive. A woman who taught a course at Vancouver Film School while we were there. It plays a PA. Nah, that wouldn't be a PA. Plays a role here. Has a brief line in this cold open. If
you're in Vancouver long enough, you will bump into someone who was in Smallville.
Right. It basically, I don't know for sure, but looked like her. And Smallville, as we've established many times, shot in Vancouver. It's amazing we don't know more people who ended up on Smallville at some point. Okay, the film's leading lady, Rachel Davenport, who doesn't grant press interviews, walks by. Rachel Davenport, who doesn't grant press interviews. What are you talking about? Of course, this is going to have a massive junket. You, the love interest in the Katie Holmes. The Batman Begins Katie Holmes of the Warrior Angel film doesn't get to not grant interviews. There's a strict regimen.
Lois Lane of a Superman movie, yeah.
Yes.
Which is a bigger part than Katie Holmes.
Yes.
More important, usually. I guess. I mean, it depends. They shafted Amy Adams, but usually it's a bigger role.
Right. All a good point. No, usually a bigger role when you lean into Superman's sexy romance qualities, which Zack Snyder is not capable of doing because he is the Chad.
Banter? No banter.
No banter from just this constantly flexing Chad virgin Zack Snyder. Like, just the fucking alpha virgin. God forbid there's any sexuality.
Oh man, there's like a lot of slow-mo, like sexy women punching guys.
They're not even like, it's not gay sexy, there's no sex, there's just
yeah, at least Schumacher gave us
Schumacher almost went too far into the sexy in Forever. Just Schumacher goes into wait, what the fuck is this actually? Go back and listen to our Batman Forever episode with Emily. We are Batman Forever fans here on this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Clark and Chloe watch her doing a scene in which she drives away. However, the brakes of her car have been cut. She can't stop and is almost killed, but Clark super speeds to the rescue and catches her. Rachel is impressed. We've talked a lot about how this season feels like a season 1 throwback, and this very much feels like some season...
Car wreck.
I forgot about the car wreck.
Yeah. Although I think it's a CG car wreck, which is like season 1 would have for sure been a real car wreck.
Right. But
we must have reached a point in time where CG car wrecks became cheaper than real car wrecks.
We did it. We've crossed that event horizon. But even just the idea of
shooting outdoors. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We're shooting outside. Yep. We've got a bunch of extras there.
Yeah. Oh my God. In some ways, I don't know if budget went up or we're just spending money right.
Yeah.
But I do love the shooting outside, and just the idea that Clark saves a pretty girl and the pretty girl is now kind of hot for Clark is great.
Totally.
This is some great classic stuff.
And and maybe I'll get into it later in the episode, but I was thinking like they're going for season 1. The only thing holding this back from being fully that is that Clark is tied down with Lana. And there's not a Clark fun romance, will they, won't they type thing happening, with Lois or with whoever the girl of the week or whatever.
Right.
If we had that, then I think we're a little bit closer to season 1.
Right.
Right now, it's like there's low stakes with Clark's interactions with this celebrity because he's with Lana.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I would love to have played with that more, but it wasn't going to happen. It's also the acting ability of this actress is a little meh.
Sure. But it's too early in the Clark Lana, not too early in their relationship overall, but they just got back together. So it's not like we're going to play around with jealousy.
No, we're not showing those cracks there.
No. That's a season 5 thing.
Right. Okay, so the day after this, Lana Lang congratulates Clark for saving Rachel. One of the film's production's assistants, Ben Myers, arrives to tell Clark that Rachel wants to meet him at the Talon. Clark asks Rachel to grant his friend Chloe an interview, and she agrees. Chloe arrives but explains that before she can interview Rachel must talk to the police because the investigation of her car indicates the brake cables of the car were in fact cut and the accident was no accident.
I wonder if it has anything to do with the production assistant whose name we know for some reason.
Yeah, right. I did not put this together at the time. I wasn't thinking about it. And so, sure. But like once it was like, oh, I should have put that together immediately.
Ben Myers.
Now, granted, To be clear, I blame it on I wasn't thinking about it.
No, and I don't think they say it, and I don't think they say it at that point in the episode necessarily.
Sure.
The wiki, the fact that the wiki knows,
Yeah.
is a tip off.
Really though, if you see a face and you're like,
right, someone has lines.
Right.
You're like, okay, let me put a little bookmark on that.
Right. It was funny seeing. I feel like we haven't seen the Talon in a minute.
Yeah, it's interesting how this movie, the Warrior Angel movie, is shooting in all these locations where our characters normally hang out.
Yeah, funny how that works.
Crazy.
All of these standing sets we have. Amazing they didn't want to have a scene in the loft.
Yeah. We get to the loft. They don't shoot there, but we get to the loft and we even use Oliver's. Oliver's not even here. Hasn't been here for ages. We're in his fucking apartment.
Oh my God, you're right. You are right.
So there's a line, I think we passed it, where Lana's like, I can think of another way to burn calories to Clark.
Yeah.
And she's hinting at sexy
Right.
time. Are we boning? Clark and
I think we get a boning story. I think we get a boning story this season.
I think we do. But I hope we get an explanation, because Clark, that was a problem.
Right.
That's why one of the big reasons they ended it last time is because he wouldn't bone her.
Right.
Because he's worried about shooting sperm through the back of her head.
Right. Has Clark learned that other forms of sex exist?
Yeah, so that's all I want, is a little clarity, and maybe we'll get it later in the season.
Right. I do remember there is a story where Lana gets some superpowers and they bone big time.
Yes, that's cool, but that doesn't explain non-superpowered boning.
No, it does not.
Like, there's no way they're not boning at this point, or they haven't. They're doing something.
Bare minimum, you could be like jerking it in front of each other.
Obviously. This is obviously not the show for it, but I would love a scene where Clark's like, "Look, this is why I didn't want to do it," and her reaction should be like, "You're a fucking moron."
Right.
Like, I put up with all the other bullshit of like, okay, you were trying to protect me, blah 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 blah. But this is stupid.
Right.
This is legitimately stupid.
Right.
And you wasted so many sexual encounters that we could have had.
I think if I'm remembering correctly, it's been a little bit since I watched it. I think Superman and Lois, which, if you recall, does a little Friday Night Lights where there's teen storylines and adult storylines, does get a little more in the weeds with it in a fun way for an adult storyline.
Cool.
That is enjoyable.
Watch, if he goes to Jor-El one day and he's like, "You should have come to me sooner. Here's this kryptonite condom."
Yeah.
That would have.
I've been coming to Earth and boning Earth, babe, since you were but.
Yes,
you think I haven't figured that shit out? Come on. Clark, I put my secretary in the Phantom Zone.
If you don't wrap it up, I will kill another loved one.
Nah. Who do you got left?
You're not responsible enough to have a child yet.
At the Daily Planet, Lois Lane is on the phone working on a story when Grant Gabriel confronts her about not going after the story about Rachel. He is annoyed that the Smallville Ledger got the scoop. The scoop.
Suddenly he's real concerned that her stories don't have evidence to back them up. When last time he was like, "Get a picture of the UFO and I'll publish it."
Yeah,
it's
right.
Fine. Take a picture.
I love this idea. This is roughly the equivalent. My hometown newspaper was called the Record Journal. And I love this idea that like the New York Times is like, the Record Journal got a story.
Yeah.
I think that's roughly an equivalent distance.
Yeah.
So Lois prefers to go after the story about Lex buying land near the dam, even though there's nothing on it but a cabin. Grant tells her to drop it. Lionel wakes up in a cabin and sees a woman who introduces herself as Marilyn. He asks for water. He then sees a bear trap-like mechanism locked on his right hand. Marilyn goes into the other room to make a call saying that he is awake. For a moment here, I thought we were getting a Lionel Misery episode.
That's kind of what they tease. I guess that's what it is. It's just 5 minutes long.
It's
so that's the
good version of this is just do Misery, just have the episode be Lionel in a fucking bed. Which you can't do. You can't do that.
You can.
But
We did the Saw. We did Lionel Saw.
that's not the same. There's still you can't do that and do it good on the CW. The children will be like, why the fuck are we watching this old ass man?
I'm sorry, I beg to differ. You can do it. I mean, in terms of violence, did you see the gore when he's trying to pry that bear trap off? It's like R-rated, disgusting.
It is pretty
gore.
rough. And I'm not talking the gore. I'm talking the teens
John
not
Glover.
wanting to
There's
watch
not
this
enough,
old
yeah, there's not enough sexy young people.
No, yeah. The show was what now?
Yeah.
I thought this was like a Superman show.
Well, it's like the Saw one. You cut back to Clark and Lex trying to find him or whatever.
Sure, I guess
you
that's
cut
fair.
back and forth.
Yeah. Fuck, they should have just done a Misery episode. What the fuck? All right, Rachel is in the Kent barn rehearsing scenes with Clark for her movie. The scene, quote unquote, gets romantic, and Lana appears just as Rachel is leaning towards a reluctant Clark for a kiss. Wow, wow.
Clark, you let that, I mean, it doesn't come to anything, but you let that get way too out of hand. You know, it's easy to say stop.
It's easy to just be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, no, this is not appropriate. I have a girlfriend. She apparently didn't know about Lana. That's rough. You got to drop that casually in the conversation at some point before you get up in the loft with this woman.
It's also yeah, this let's run lines, quote unquote, with
yeah.
Clark, you're a fucking moron. Rachel exits and Lana explains to Clark that the fans aren't happy because in the movie, Warrior Angel's girlfriend lives, but in the comics, she's supposed to die. This might be why a fan is trying to kill Rachel. Zach, let's discuss.
Okay, great.
I loved that. I love that everyone has become an expert on this movie that has not been released. And Lana's line specifically, I think, is the movie holds true to the mythology of the comics in all ways but one. I think that's literally the line. I do think there's some fun here of certainly making a Smallville teen soap. Writers certainly have probably heard from some crazy people.
Oh yeah, totally. I appreciated that even in 2007, toxic nerd fans were a real thing.
Oh yeah.
It's like it only got worse, obviously, but this was there back then. Even
I mean, right? I mean, a huge, gigantic hit, 1989's Batman. No one was like, Michael Keaton, let's see what happens. It was no!
Yeah,
no!
exactly. I think the difference between then with like Michael Keaton and even up through the Smallville part is the fans weren't in complete control.
Right. Yeah.
They could complain. They would complain, but there were so few of these things that they would still all go see the fucking movie.
Right.
No matter what.
Right.
Now there's so much content out there that I think they have a lot more power, and the fans,
it's
for better or worse, mostly worse.
It's say what you will about The Last Jedi and any plot points specifically in The Last Jedi. Do we think Rise of Skywalker is any better for the taking stuff?
No.
Oh, sorry, was that too provocative?
Yeah. Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll take every suggestion anyone's ever had to put in this movie,
yes!
even though they don't match. It's just all stupid.
And yet, They took all of those suggestions, but not the ones where you and I get to drive the Millennium Falcon for 10 minutes.
Well, better movie.
Better movie. Better movie for me. I'm saying that's a 10-star fucking movie.
Was the new Star Wars movie good? No, but these two guys look like they had a lot of fun.
They keep cutting to two guys in the Millennium Falcon, and like the Boys in Rackin' Town is playing as they like mug to camera while driving the Millennium Falcon. They're having a great time, and it's kind of hard to you can't root against them.
I'm like poke my head in. The chess thing works. It's real. I don't know how to play, but it's cool.
All my guys are dead, but it's awesome.
There's a bathroom. They never show it. Very spacious.
I did see in a for my newsletter, I like to go through old sci-fi magazines. Fuck, I haven't put out a newsletter in a little while. But I like to go through old sci-fi magazines, and one of them is from the 70s, had a blueprint of the Starship Enterprise, and it was very specifically the cockpit, and it was very funny. Clearly a joke. But they specifically put the bathrooms effectively where the fourth wall is. That's where the door to the bathroom is on the bridge of the Enterprise.
That's great. Love that.
Love that.
Yeah.
Where do you think where would you put a bathroom on the Millennium Falcon?
That's like thinking about the fourth wall in like a show like Friends or something. It's like, man, they're wasting so much space over here.
Yeah, right? Like,
what's over here? Never spend any time over in this area. The Millennium Falcon, I mean, it's got to be, would you put it attached to the bedroom? There's like a sleeping quarters, or would you?
You think there's only one bathroom? I guess this is a better question. Do you think there's only one bathroom on the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah, I imagine
it's not supposed to be like a good ship, right? It's awesome in our world where we don't have any cool spaceships,
right?
But like in Star Wars, everyone goes like, that ship sucks.
We see a little more of the interior in Solo. I wonder if you could get a peek of it there.
Chewbacca's got it. There's got to be two bathrooms. Chewbacca's on that thing. No way Chewbacca doesn't take fucking cool, like just fucking cavernous dumps.
I was gonna say, I can't imagine sharing a bathroom on the Falcon with those two. You know what I mean? They got to each have their own.
How do Wookiees shit?
Now, does Chewbacca get the communal one that everyone's using, and Han gets his own, or is it the other way around?
Yeah. I'm worried, dude, that Chewbacca like shits in a fucking nest. And it's a little bit. People are walking on.
No, he's cleaner than Han, probably. Like somehow, like he's got a bidet.
Because he only eats like seeds and shit, right?
if you don't clean out that hair, that's gonna be fucking gnarly. So every time you go, you gotta use a bidet or hop in the shower.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Han is fucking that blue milk shit, man. Those blue milk shits.
Gross. I'm sure they have a cross section somewhere online. We could find out where that bathroom is, or how many they have.
All right, I'm going to do one quick Google. Where are the bathrooms on the Millennium Falcon? Contrary to popular belief, it does have a bathroom. Of course it has a bathroom.
You're traveling through space.
Through space. The bathroom is located next to the galley, the kitchen.
Oh, the kitchen. Great. That's why I want my bathroom.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's all right. That's where the official canon Millennium Falcon bathroom is.
I pulled up a cross section so I can look at it. Okay, well, I'll get to the bottom of this on my own time.
Right.
We have more important stuff going on. Way bigger than I thought it was. Holy cow.
It's a big ship. It's because it's supposed to. It's a cargo ship, right?
Yeah, it's they're smuggling.
Right. Well, it can't look like it's smuggling. It's got to look legit.
Right. Yeah.
They can't open up the cargo van like, no, my secrets. Okay. That's what Star Wars conversation should be. Before I get back into it, suddenly it all turned to like canon and like who gives a shit?
Right. Yes. Exactly. Yes. That's what it was for most of my life, was like stupid shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, I mean, it's exactly the thing in Clerks with like the contractors.
Right.
It's that conversation. And we knew it was stupid, and that was the fun of it.
And that was the fun of it, because it ultimately comes down to, well, it's just a fucking movie, whatever.
Right.
And then it weirdly got to like the consistent fucking universe, and like fucking don't do that.
Boo. Boo.
Boo.
I say boo.
Okay. It does bug me in Rogue One that the AT-ATs are on a fucking beach. That doesn't make any sense.
AT-ATs in general don't make a whole
I
lot of
guess
sense.
that's a fair point.
Just the slowest. I mean, you have all this other technology. But that's what's great about Star Wars. That's why it's, it's space fantasy. It's not sci-fi. We're not thinking about this stuff. Doesn't need to actually make sense.
Space fantasy, Star Wars specifically, begins and ends. It looks cool.
Right.
That's the logic.
It's why the bombers in Last Jedi. It's like, yeah, it's stupid, but yeah, of course.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I don't know. It's just
whatever.
I don't know. It looks kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and that is maybe the problem with that Last Jedi storyline with the slow chase, is that it maybe draws a little too much attention to that like technical aspect of it. And it's like, you don't want to think too much about that stuff. It doesn't make no fucking sense.
I think maybe you're right of like an ideal Star Wars. Don't put me in a position where I'm thinking about it.
Right, exactly. Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm thinking about it, you should have had an explosion and characters riffing at each other. Like,
yes, totally. Yeah.
It's I forget what fucking movie I made it. I think it's maybe Mission Impossible 4 of just if you're ever hitting a point where it's like, wait, does this make sense? It's a guy with a gun.
Those movies are very good at that.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. We gotta run.
Look over here.
Okay, so we've learned about Rachel. We're running lines. We get a little sexy time that Clark is not receptive to. This station is closed, ma'am.
Well, Lana comes in and she's super confident about it, not phased at all. Respect that.
Right. I can't tell. Do you think she was not phased by it, or was she performatively not phased by it?
Oh, ooh, good call.
I don't know.
Good call.
I don't know.
I think she maybe natural reaction and then takes it in stride and is like, you know what? It's Clark.
I think you're right. With a little edge of, hey, I'm right here, Buster.
Of like, yeah, maybe don't be a moron.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, you handsome dumbass.
Yes.
You handsome, sweet dumbass.
Don't put yourself in that position.
Right. She didn't need to run lines with you, Clark.
Yeah, up in the your private barn area.
All right, so Lex is talking to one of his assistants about Kara's identity. Clark arrives at the Luthor mansion to ask him about the Warrior Angel storyline. Lex claims he hasn't read an issue since he and Clark were friends, but produces a perfectly preserved copy of the issue in question. He shows Clark the comic, in which the evil villain Divilicus shoots Warrior Angel's girlfriend Penelope, and she dies in his arms. Clark leaves to go back to the movie set.
I appreciate that Lex is like, I haven't read a Warrior Angel comic since we were friends, and then turns and the first drawer next to him opens, and it's like 30 perfectly preserved Warrior Angel comics.
You know, I will say, look, I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That comes and goes in waves. I some days, some like years, I'm way deep into it. Other years, it's a little more on the back burner. I always got that dog in me. I'm always ready to go.
I'm taking issue with his. Why would you come to me?
Yeah.
I haven't read a comic like that in a long time.
Right.
It's like, because I know you have a drawer right there.
You didn't forget this thing you spent a lot of time
if I
with.
came to you, Brian, even if you were in an off year with Ninja Turtles and was like, hey, what was the name of their the little bus, the van thing they drove around in? You wouldn't be like, why are you asking
Shellraiser.
me? You wouldn't be like, why are you asking me? Zach, I haven't read a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic in a long time. You'd be like, oh no, I know the answer to that question.
Yeah, right.
Obviously.
I didn't go on dates in high school. I know it's the Shellraiser.
Yeah. Yes. And look, and I really I love we're back to Clark and Lex having scenes together.
Yes.
Like, I'm okay if they're not friends and that because Lex is turning more evil, but I do like them being on speaking terms and not always being against each other. But you don't have to be best buds, but just them having interaction and there being more layers to it than just I hate you and you hate me.
It turns out
is good.
There isn't actually that much conflict in them hating each other. That is a definite, that's an answered question that I don't want. I'd rather actually play in some conflict here.
What's interesting is I don't hate you, but we're enemies. That's interesting.
That's interesting.
Yes. I don't hate you. I actually kind of love you, but we are destined to be nemesis. That's so much more interesting than fuck you. Oh no, fuck you.
Right. So like, no, yeah, you are, and it's so much better that I'm willing to like overlook some bumpiness to get back here, you know?
Right. Yes, totally. Yeah.
It's fine. We needed to be here. And in fact, I wish they'd almost go a little further, but.
And from what I remember how this goes, I think it kind of is an effective reset, partial reset, because it makes the eventual turn we get later this season work really well. And that is so much more effective than the kind of turns we've had up until this point of, last season or whatever,
right.
It works better this time, I think.
This is Lex's final season?
Yes.
So
yes.
I could see, wanting to obviously like do a good job for once.
Right.
Has anyone fallen harder than Lex of like highs of whatever he's doing in the show? Yes, I'm enjoying it. To like, oh God, get him off this island of like this fucking storylines are terrible.
No, I don't think so.
There's an island. There's a storyline where he's literally been stuck on an island, and that's better than the fucking stories of
the Lana Island.
Than the Lana Island.
Oh. Yeah, no, I don't think so because it was dreadful.
Do you think the Lana Island is the real bullet and this all could have been avoided if Lex didn't get stuck on the Lana Island? Is Lana a black hole that like it just killed any Lex momentum rather than
Yeah, at a certain point, because maybe at the very beginning of him being interested in her and then she's with Clark and there's some tension there, whatever, but 2 seasons too long of that shit.
Right.
It just.
I think they're putting Lex and Lana together to give Lana some stuff to do, and that black hole is just so powerful it took Lex with her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the gravity just pulled his whole solar system into it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so on the set, Rachel is about to do a scene. However, Ben puts a real bullet in the prop gun. Whoa, timely.
I was gonna say, oh man, my fingers hovered over my phone when I make notes for like 2 minutes straight, and I was like, no, nothing. I'm not gonna. There's so many things I almost want to say, but no.
No, we'll just leave that there for you to infer what you want. I just want to let you all know that I see it.
Exactly, yeah.
We did not see it. Clark, watching the scene, X-rays the gun and sees the real bullet in it. He super speeds and catches it, but Ben sees him. Lois sneaks into Luthor Corp.
Clark, he's got the super sight, the super hearing. He doesn't notice this guy standing 3 inches behind him watching while he's like holding this bullet.
Yeah, right. Lois sneaks into Luthor Corp as an employee. She heads to Lex's office and tries to hack into his computer, but is caught by Lex. He tells her he has no more secrets left. He denies having purchased any land near the dam and is surprised that the initials LL are on the authorization. He then gets his man to escort Lois out of the building.
It's a fine scene. They're both good in it.
Yes.
But this Lois storyline is a real... Hey, don't forget Lois is in this show.
We're just... we need something for the series regular to do.
Right, yeah. We'll give her more stuff later, but we just need to remind you that she's here and to give her a job.
Hey, Lois, you want to... Or, hey, Erica, you want to take some of that PTO? No, I'm good. I'm here.
Yeah. Okay, we've got a good E-plot for you.
I've never been in a writer's room like this, like a drama like this. It does have to be difficult to, like, you have a bunch of people who need stories, and like they're on the payroll, they're getting paid this week, so you got to do something with them.
Yeah. No, it's just funny this week because it's literally 3 scenes. She gets Grant Gabriel where she's talking about the story. Breaking into Lex's, and then Grant Gabriel where she's talking about the story at the end.
Yeah, wow. That's all it takes sometimes.
Which is fine, but she's been gone. She wasn't there last week, right?
Right.
So she's
right.
like, it's like I need a little more Lois.
A little more Lois. I miss her.
Here.
I miss her. It's she's a good element.
They're like keeping her in their back pocket until Lana leaves. It's like
it's time.
I know, and it's just like she can't stay in that back pocket forever, man.
Don't hide that light. Don't hide.
No. It's like the starting. You had this world-class Super Bowl quarterback, and then you drafted this young, like up and coming. This is the next quarterback,
right? And
you're hanging on to the veteran, even though this quarterback is way past their prime and they're not winning Super Bowls anymore.
Right.
But you don't want to insult, the former great.
Right.
You're like, you just need to retire, man, because we have this rookie. QB is going to be so good.
But like, man, eventually it even hits the point where like we can see that quarterback ain't selling fucking tickets anymore. That ain't selling hot dogs.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And it's not another QB's not a rookie anymore. We're 4 seasons in.
Right.
It's
time. It's time.
Yeah, we haven't made the playoffs in a few years.
Man, ain't that I think we got to go back and we got to determine it's not whether a season's good or bad. It's does it make the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
That's good.
We got to bring your brother on for
that.
Yeah. Last season, they did not make the playoffs.
No.
They were out of the running in mid-season. They were fighting for a draft spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so with Marilyn in the other room, Lionel frees himself by pulling the bear trap off of his hand. He then throws a glass onto the ground. It breaks, and Marilyn comes in. Then, apologizing for being rude earlier when she picks up the glass, he knocks her out and runs out the door. Considering I thought this was going to be a Lionel misery story, it was shockingly like, I'm going to play my video game for a minute. Clark arrives home and the press is there taking pictures of him and asking questions. He is unnerved, but when he gets inside, Rachel is unconcerned. She's getting a massage and reading. He explains that he allowed her to stay at the farm for her safety, but if paparazzi knows she is here, the killer will know too. I love, like, her massage guy was welcomed in.
Also, you can tell them to get off your property, Clark. They're literally on your property. They can't do that.
Right. You're a big, strong boy. You can...
you could literally kill all those people and no one would ever know.
No one would ever fucking know. They would never find the bodies.
Blow really hard and their necks would break.
Right? Or just get a boner. He then sees an envelope addressed to him. It is an issue of Warrior Angel and a message telling him that the writer knows about his powers and asks him why he hasn't saved the world yet. What does that mean? Clark's actually been doing quite a bit, buddy. He's saved the world, at least the small town of Smallville and the major city of Metropolis. Once or twice. Sorry, was that not good enough for you?
I also love the idea that because this guy's a comic book super fan, he would care about a real life superpowered person. I don't think that's how it would work. Like, I don't think in real life, like big Spider-Man fans would like be this concerned about real world shit going on. I don't think it translates like that necessarily one to one.
I think in 2007, though, hear me out. We are a year away from the election of like Barack Obama, who like the youths are putting everything behind. Like, we are still susceptible to the monolithic figure. I mean, you could argue we still are now. I don't know what my larger thought there is.
Well, you were going to tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think you're wrong and an asshole and a bad person.
We do that.
I don't know. I don't know. I have some inklings of a thought, but I don't have a thesis.
That should be the name of our next podcast. Inklings of a thought.
Inklings of a thought.
Not quite a full thought.
Not quite a... I will say, I have gotten a lot, my wife and I have gotten a lot out of being able to communicate. Like, as a door opens, like, this is half-baked, but as we then excitedly break down something we've been thinking of, and it was like, do you have a point? No. Just
see you later.
Some things I have on my brain right now, I'm gonna go. And that happens 2-3 times a day in our house.
Great.
Okay, Marilyn is chasing Lionel through the woods when he is hit in the head by a shovel. It is revealed that Lana is paying Marilyn to keep him captive. She is furious and berates Marilyn for letting Lionel escape, but she is interrupted when Clark calls, asking her to pick up Rachel. She sweetly agrees. Kind of I'm visiting Nell.
Yeah. She offers a lie before she needs one. She's like, hi, I'm just visiting Nell. I'm not doing anything sketchy.
Yeah, right. But we do need to communicate to an audience that, like,
right,
you know, she's being a liar.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's those rays of light around a black hole. Of writing, not Kristen Crook. Once again, always.
No,
we can't beat that enough.
It's better than most of what they have her do last year.
This is probably the best Lana has ever been, outside of her being what she was initially designed for, of just the girl.
Right, yeah. Yes, her doing subterfuge against Lionel. Okay, sure. It's like you put your weakest player, you pair him with your best player.
Yeah.
Again, Kristen Crook, not the weakest player. Lana, the weakest
player. Lana on the page is the weakest player.
Yes, exactly.
And I reckon if we broke that down, like, kind of, if we were able to fully articulate how we felt about it, Kristen Crook would agree with it, I think.
Oh, I'm sure she knows better than we do.
Yeah.
She saw the scripts.
Right. I highly doubt if we were to just fully outlay how we felt about that Cole character, she would not be like, what are you talking about? This was...
No, she would be like, I was so sick of having... loft scenes with Clark, or whatever.
Right. She's good. She should have had better. Clark and Chloe try to find out who the stalker is. Chloe manages to trace the comic book purchase to Ben. Ben, of course, is the named PA. Clark then goes to Ben's apartment, but only finds a computer attached to a camera. It is a recorded message to Clark from Ben telling him that he should be the hero he is destined to be and start saving the world. Once again, a nuclear missile almost dropped on Smallville, and Clark rode it up into the sky. What have you done, Ben?
Hundreds of nuclear missile silos. Did you notice the Mr. Freeze toy in the foreground of the frame in this?
I did not.
Yeah.
That's very fun.
Pretty sure.
That's fun. I mean, surely they just collected whatever fucking shit they can get on eBay to show that this guy's into comic books.
Brian, I apologize. I got to go to the bathroom again.
All good, brother.
Even if you take the he's a superhero out of it, if a PA came up to me and was like, Zach, you're not living up to your potential.
Fuck
like,
off.
You know what? Yeah, maybe you're not living up to your potential, bro. Yeah, I have not saved the world, and I can tell you, fuck off.
How fucking rude.
You don't know me. You don't know me.
You don't
man.
know fucking shit about me, bro.
Especially this fucking guy. This guy is dialed up to 75.
Yes.
Not even 11. Yes. You need to live up to your potential.
Man, I didn't fucking even think about it on that level. I have been told throughout my life I am not living up to my potential. And actually, no, this is about it.
We're maxed out.
I am maxed the fuck out. Sorry, my potential is very low. It was one of my favorite bands is a band called Pup, and they've gotten kind of popular in like a Midwest emo-y kind of punk scene, and the name Pup is the lead singer's grandmother called their band a pathetic use of potential.
Oh, yes.
Which is beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a goddamn band name.
Hell yeah. I like that.
Okay. So Lex follows Lois's story and arrives at a cabin filled with various plants and some appearing to be over $10,000 of marijuana and other weeds, and sees his father tied to a bed. He goes over to free him, but Marilyn points a gun at him. However, Lionel knocks her out cold again. Marilyn's really rocking the concussion fucking zone here.
Did she get one before, you think? So 2 concussions?
He does knock her out. If you get knocked out, that's a concussion, I think, by our
No,
standards.
it is. I just don't know if she loses consciousness the first time, but she is. I would say it's a concussion, but she's kind of like, and then she gets back up. But I think it counts. I think
it counts. I think concussions are easy to get, I think, is what we're learning.
We'll give her 2.
They were. I was watching a podcast of 2 wrestlers kind of talking of the way the industry has changed, and one of the big stars of the 90s, and they were kind of joking we were giving you fucking concussions in front of nobody. What were we doing? The golden goose of the company at the moment. We were just it's because it turns out it's not just hitting your head, just your head rocking as your shoulders hit something real hard can cause a concussion. And so we were just racking them up for you. This is Mankind talking about Steve Austin for anyone into that kind of thing. But okay. Is 2 concussions an episode of high for somebody?
No, I'm sure Lex has gotten 2 in an episode before.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
So, I love about this scene is Lex comes in and is like, "Oh, Dad, I never gave up on you," and then Lionel accuses him of being the one holding him captive, and Lex goes, "I can see you've given up on me, though." Well, yeah, Lex.
Yeah,
do you remember some of the shit you've done?
Yeah, Lex. So I know we're trying to play a reset button here, but
yeah, bud, you had a rough year. Okay, you murdered someone. Right? Don't forget about that.
Right. Zach, if you spent every week for a year shouting at me, "Give up on me!" I might. By week 52, I might.
Right. If you found out that I tricked someone into marrying me by making them think that they were pregnant, you might have some trust concerns there, right?
I might be like, I don't know, he's always been cool to me, but it's getting a little dicey over here.
But you might, if you were kidnapped and I showed up, you might be like, how'd you find me, Zach? And then Lionel brutally beats this woman to death.
And then beats her to death.
Hey, guess what, Lana? That blood is on your hands, man.
Yeah.
You put this woman in this situation. Also, how did that even work? This woman found Lionel and then called Lana. I was like, hey, do you want me to hold this person captive? Or like that was part of the plan?
That's a great question. Lana's got fuck you money right now. So it's possible she hired somebody.
But did she? Yeah, but she would have had, it would have had to been planned with her fake death, with her clone.
Yeah.
Because it was all on that same day, right?
Right.
How did she know Lionel was going to show up where he did?
Right. Unless yeah. Doesn't it might just not make sense. It's the reality of it. So yeah, however, Lionel knocks her out cold again and starts to hit her in the head with the bear trap many times. Just woof. Lex is horrified and calls out to him to stop. We can't count this. It's simply not confirmable. How many concussions before she's dead?
Yeah, each stroke of that bear trap is a concussion.
Right. Lana takes Rachel to Queen Tower for safety because Lana's just got the fucking keys to Queen Tower.
Secret superhero Oliver Queen lets just anyone.
I assume it's not crazy that Oliver would be like to Clark if you need the apartment for any reason.
Right. But then does Clark tell Oliver that he's given the keys to Lana, or he's like, no, it's fine. I'm house sitting. It'll be fine. Just go hang out there.
He doesn't have to know. Just don't tell him.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Fine.
Yeah, just don't break any of his glass stuff in there.
Look, if it comes up, I won't lie, but he doesn't have to come up. And also, if it does come up, I will lie. I'm Clark Kent. It's kind of my thing. Ben has tracked them down and he tasers Rachel unconscious. Lana tries to escape, but he tases her as well. Clark takes Ben's hard drive to Chloe and tries to figure out what Ben's up to. They realize Ben is going after Lana. At the Queen Tower, Ben carries Lana over the edge of the building and tells her she needs her to die in order for Clark to save the world. I think in order for this to be better writing, there needs to be something specific Ben wants, right? Rather than become the nebulous idea of a superhero.
Right, yeah.
I'm not saying this could have got there. I'm not saying this is fixable, but
it's a little vague.
Yeah. He tosses her over, but Clark arrives just in time to jump after her and catch her. It makes sense in theory. Like, he wants a real superhero in the. I get it. I'm picking up what it's putting down. It's just not quite good.
No, it's they don't quite nail the pivot. That's what I was saying earlier. From I'm obsessed with this comic. It has to be faithful to the comic. To superheroes are real.
Yeah,
you have to become a real superhero.
Which is a shame because it's kind of fun. It's the pieces individually are kind of fun.
Yes,
it just doesn't.
I think this could have been a really fun season 2 storyline or something.
Right. Yes.
Or episode. It would, but here for whatever reason, I don't know. Doesn't quite.
5 years later,
watchable.
It doesn't quite.
Watchable. Siskel and Ebert say watchable.
I don't. Once again, this was a perfectly pleasant 42 minutes to spend.
Yeah.
The next day, Grant is not impressed with Lois's story, but invites her to a dinner. She declines. It's a fun little scene of
Yeah, that's a little simplified too.
yeah.
He rescinds the offer because she's like, "Is this a date?" And then he's like, "No, what? Fuck, no, fuck that."
Right. It's a little like sexy.
Yes.
But and it's wheel spinning, but we're doing a little board reminder where the pieces are here.
We are setting up one thing that I think comes back later is that he is asking her not to investigate the Luthers.
Oh, interesting. Got it.
And that comes back. Yeah.
Got it. Lionel is back on his feet. He confronts Lana in the loft and tells her he knows it was her that held him in the cabin and warns her about this dangerous game that she is playing. John Glover, man.
So good, man.
I mean, we should have... If there's one person who could have broken out of that orbit, it's John Glover. So actually what we should have done was put John Glover on the Lana Island.
That's what they're doing now.
Right.
What they're doing now.
And then you could build... John Glover could build a little theater on the Lana Island.
The thing is, do you want to put John Glover in that position where like his powers are weakened? He's still surviving, but his powers are weakened. Or do you want him full power in a different part of the galaxy?
Oh, great questions. Great questions.
That's
Zach.
the thing.
I guess want is different from I think they could. Right. I think John Glover could survive the Lana Island reasonably unscathed.
I kind of like what they did in season 4, which is bring in a whole new character to get sucked into the black hole.
Yeah.
The Jensen Ackles character.
Right.
And then
yeah. Oh, season 4.
Season 4 is our favorite season, except for that one part.
There's so many highs. There's so many highs, except for that fucking black hole. It was all great, except for the black hole.
I bet if we watched season 4 right now, we would be like, the Stone storyline's not so bad after watching season 6.
I think you're probably right, because they're just, compared to season 6, it's a bad story,
Right.
All shows have a bad... People talk about fucking Breaking Bad as one of the greatest TV shows of all time. And yet season 1 has a fucking story where his sister-in-law is shoplifting. And like, who the fuck cares? Who cares? Okay, Ben has been put in Belle Reve. Lex goes to visit and tries to bribe Ben into talking by offering him dozens of the rarest Warrior Angel comics. He says he's there to hear whatever Ben has to say about what he saw. Ben tells Lex nothing. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it was very well executed. I'm just saying I kind of liked it in theory.
No, yeah, it's fine. Again, we come back to what more do you need to know, Lex? What can this kid tell you that you don't already know about?
Lex, I think you know everything we know.
Literally all he doesn't have is someone being like, yeah, you're right.
I guess you don't know his dad, his Krypton dad is technically responsible for the death of his father. I think that's all, and he's got an ice castle.
No, but
I don't think there's anything else you don't know.
Literally all this kid can tell you is, yep, I was talking about Clark. And you know that. You know he's talking about Clark. You know Clark has superpowers. You maybe think he's a meteor freak. Fine. What's the
difference there? And then,
you know how many superpower people you've known at this point?
Yeah, right. You have a whole fucking factory full of them. Like, what don't you know?
Yeah, you are it's just.
Though, and I hope this diversion is relevant enough. But my parents were in town. My mom and I were up late, and we were just kind of scrolling through Tubi, and we ended up watching Moonlighting. Have you ever seen Moonlighting?
No, it's on my list.
Bruce Willis, Sybil Shepherd. It was It was the show Bruce Willis was on when he got Die Hard, and then that, bumped him into the stratosphere. First thing I would say, having watched the pilot of Moonlighting and a season 4 episode of Moonlighting, Bruce Willis was clearly too good for this show immediately. Was destined for bigger, better things than the show Moonlighting. Second thing about Moonlighting is it's funny the way these old shows work. So we're watching this 90-minute pilot for Moonlighting, and then it's a 90-minute pilot for Moonlighting. And we're like, so halfway through, we're like, let's just find a random episode of Moonlighting.
The pilot's almost always not the best place to start with old shows.
I truly. So halfway through, let's just find an episode of Moonlighting. And then it was funny. So we found a random, my mom was looking for one that she remembered. And then we found a season 4 one. Great. We went, and it was funny. The exact same conflicts from the pilot in season 4 are the exact same conflicts.
Right.
It's Sybil Shepherd as Bruce Willis is boss, and they don't get along it's the same thing 4 years later.
Right.
And I thought that was funny, the way old shows don't progress the way,
right?
Because they would just run completely scrambled in syndication, right?
Yep.
But just the way TV has changed is interesting. Okay, Rachel arrives at the Kent farm to give Clark a gift before she heads back to Hollywood. As she leaves, Lana muses that she doesn't want to be the person holding Clark back from doing great things. Clark assures her that he has everything he's ever wanted here on the farm with her. When Lana leaves, Clark opens up the gift Rachel gave him. It is a red cape. This is from the set of Warrior Angel. Clark dismissively hangs it on the fence and follows Lana into the house. And we get this. It is a fun shot. If I was making a Superman teen soap, I would also want to do this shot of Clark walking into the farmhouse with the red Superman cape, on the fence wafting in the wind. I don't know. A famous lady gave you a gift.
Right. Yeah. Bring it inside.
Bring it inside. You could bare minimum sell it.
Yeah. Don't be a dick about it.
I don't know. Kind of a dick move, Clark. I feel like Tom Welling and Clark have melded into the same dismissiveness of Superman.
Those two and Zack Snyder all hate Superman.
Yeah. It's anytime Clark or anytime Tom Welling on a podcast is like, whoa, I didn't play Superman. I played Clark Kent. I'm like, all right, come on.
Brian, wait till you get to season 9 and he says that shit. It's absurd for him to say he didn't play Superman. Because he played Superman in every way you can play Superman except for wearing that costume.
You don't have to run from it. You're a good Superman. I think you're a good Superman, Tom.
They give him a costume to wear. They just don't give him that one.
Right. That's fucking stupid.
Just wait. And
I've seen the DVD cover.
Someone who loves season 9. It's stupid that the costume they have him wear. It's funny that I'm sure he was like, I don't want to wear something that dorky. I want something cooler. The Superman costume is way cooler than the one.
I've seen it on the DVD covers and everything, and in the promotional material. Yeah, it's pretty. It's definitely post Matrix, but the Matrix sequels have come out, and everyone's kind of cooled on it.
Yeah, it's like a decade after the Matrix was cool.
Yeah.
So it's we're too late.
Man, I'm excited to get to those episodes. I know you're a fan of them, and I'm excited for some. It sounds like a good balance of goofy, fun adventure with some romance.
Yes. It starts in season 8. Season 8 has some growing pains, but that's where it starts to get. We get some fun. They're figuring it out. Yeah. Oliver Queen comes back. It's Lois and Clark focused. I mean,
I'm surprised by how long Oliver Queen's been gone. I forgot he just disappeared for a while.
I mean, I'm just assuming he had other commitments.
Right. I just mean specifically, if you had asked me, Oliver Queen shows up and then he's on the show, I forgot, he shows up for a while and then he's gone, and then I don't remember him coming back properly.
Yeah,
I don't.
he
I
gets-
don't think
he
I was
has-
watching when he comes.
He has one guest episode this season, and then he's a regular starting in season 8. So
Wow.
yeah.
We do got some featured music this episode. We have "Dirty Little Rockstar" by The Cult. That's it. Not familiar with it. I don't even remember it in the episode.
It was at the beginning.
That's usually where these are.
Yeah, beginning or end. Yeah.
I'm looking at the notes now here on the wiki. This is the first episode of the entire series featuring Clark saving Lana using his powers while she is conscious and aware of being saved.
That can't be true.
I think it might be true.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. Are we counting also like and then remembers? You know?
Right.
Like,
That's what I was wondering, because I was like, there's got to be times where she.
right, are we
before we
counting
time
kind of
traveled or
alternate timelines that don't become kind of canon? Lex's comment to Clark that in the comic book world, when you're destined to save mankind, you're destined to be alone, is remarkably similar to incidents from Season 1's Hourglass. Clark saw Cassandra's vision of him being alone, having outlived his friends and family.
What do you mean? Remarkably similar. That's part of the text.
That's just the text. Man, okay, this is a
It's not like a coincidence that they're hinting at this future for Superman. This is part of the Superman story.
right.
Remarkably similar.
I just had a thought. I just had a thought. You remember the show Heroes on NBC?
Yes.
Big talk among comic book dorks in 2007. That feeds into Smallville in a way that my wife and I have been talking like we should maybe we'll watch a couple episodes of Heroes and see what the fuck was going on there.
So I never watched Heroes because I was a Lost person, and there was like Heroes premiered when Lost was having its first like rough patch publicly, and so it was a big like Heroes is the new Lost, and I was like, fuck that.
Oh yeah.
But Heroes was only good for that one season.
I
and
think
then-
Heroes had one good season and then was nothing after that.
Yeah, supposedly. Yeah, that's what they said.
That's how I remember it. I fell off Heroes. You know, I remember the first season being really good and then I fell off of it.
I think season 2 was when we were at school. Or season 1. Was it season 1?
I think season 1 was airing.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think I watched it on DVD later. I don't think I watch it when everyone's
Yeah,
watching it.
I didn't
while we're in
watch
school.
it.
I don't think it's probably not worth going back to now. But I am curious how that feeds into Smallville.
Yeah.
A
Yeah, I'm sure it
popular-ish
doesn't so
network
much.
drama probably plays into the superhero show that's airing on the CW. I don't know. My wife and I may watch a couple while we're high, and we'll see
Smallville
where we get to.
absorbed everything in the popular culture.
Right.
Spit it out. So
There may be a continuity error in the numbering of the Warrior Angel comics. This is the shit I come to the wiki for. In this episode, Divilicus is the arch rival in issue 5. But in the episode Ryan, Lex says that Divilicus turns against Warrior Angel in issue number 66, which chronologically most likely would have been written after issue 5. Thank you, wiki.
unless issue 5 is in a different run, like Detective
A
Comics,
different
or
run.
like-
You're right.
Yeah, you
You're
know what I
right. The
mean?
run could have fucking changed.
Yeah.
However, since Warrior Angel's girlfriend is threatening, so I got bored.
You know what? Lex misspoke. Okay.
Lex misspoke. Wonder Woman's logo can be seen on different items used on the set of Warrior Angel, like the loudspeaker and the hat of the production assistant.
I noticed that. I noticed that.
It is most likely used as Warrior Angel's logo. Is this related to the Wonder Woman pilot, the David E. Kelly Wonder Woman pilot that didn't go? Why else would they all have merch with a Wonder Woman logo on it?
I mean, it's DC. They can it's little Easter eggs, right? When was the Wonder Woman pilot? Because I think the Wonder Woman pilot was later, because the girl from Friday Night Lights was in that.
2011. Okay. Yep. No.
Yeah.
Simply so they just used a logo? It's fine. It's fine. I don't quite get it, but it's fine. Okay. Oh, fuck. None of these notes are interesting. Give me an interesting note for the love of God. The film version of Warrior Angel has him rescue his girlfriend from the way Devilicus tried to kill her in the comics. This also resembles in broad strokes the film adaptation of Spider-Man 2002, where the Green Goblin tries to kill Spider-Man's girlfriend the same way he killed his girlfriend in the comics, only for Spider-Man to save her. Then the Spider-Man girlfriend, the girlfriend isn't Gwen. Fuck. Oh,
No.
no,
That's not
not.
similar at all.
That's not similar
Because in
at all.
Spider-Man, Green Goblin is not trying to recreate a comic. So literally the only similarity is that the villain is trying to kill the superhero's girlfriend, which by the way happens in everything
That's
ever.
just every you could
stop
have put Superman the movie in here.
Yes. Boo. Boo, I say, Wiki. Boo. Be better.
The scene of Warrior Angel's girlfriend dying, as shown in the comic, has the angel holding her body and shouting, much like Superman did in the 1978 movie, and Clark himself did in Pariah and Reckoning. Okay, trivia. Lionel's captivity echoes that of Paul Sheldon's character in the 1989 movie Misery. Man, Misery's good as hell.
It's a solid movie.
Rob
Solid.
Reiner, king of fucking movies, man.
I mean, he had a 2-3 decade run there where he was solid every time out.
Yes.
And then the mid 90s happened and it was over. But
okay, so this actress here who's playing the movie star is Christina Milian.
Yeah.
Okay. Milian made her
She was a model, right? Or
she was a model.
recording artist.
She also had a Ja Rule's 2000 single Between Me and You, which peaked at number 11. Call Me. She performed the theme song Call Me Beat Me for the Disney Channel animated series Kim Possible. Okay, she was a little hot at the time. Featured on some big stuff. As an actress, her first lead film role was Love Don't Cost a Thing, 2003. She's in Be Cool, 2005. Pulse, 2006. We can watch Pulse for Smallville horror movies.
I mean, honestly, it would probably be better than most of what we watched already.
I've seen Pulse. It's not very good.
Isn't it a remake?
It is a remake.
We watched the original.
Yeah, we'll watch the original.
Pulse.
So I did not recognize her while watching it, but like I recognize some of the singles she's featured in. Okay, so Christina Milian is a huge comic book fan and lobbied for the role of Wonder Woman to director George Miller in Justice League Mortal, that movie that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Which fell in development hell and would be the live-action debut of the team. She also reportedly was unaware that the gift Rachel would give Clark was a red cape. That's funny, because that makes sense, because she just hands him something in the shot, and so I guess it makes sense that it could just be.
Well, why wouldn't she know? It's not in the script. They didn't know yet. They were like, oh, we'll figure this out.
She maybe just read her fucking pages, man. My guess, Zach, was she didn't read the whole script. She read her fucking pages. Because why wouldn't you? Why would you read any more?
You need to be. What's my motivation? What's in this box?
Yeah. In this episode, the Warrior Angel film uses locations in Kansas, which is ironic since due to cost, Superman production never filmed in Kansas.
That's funny.
Yeah, Kansas is not getting huge tax breaks for film.
No.
I guess that's everything. There's stuff here, and none of it is that interesting. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been Action. I don't know. Any final thoughts? I got a
Dirtbag Nostalgia.
I got a newsletter. It's called Dirtbag Nostalgia. Dirtbagnostalgia.substack.com. I'm like 2 weeks behind on getting one out.
You've promised us Batman content.
I will give you Batman content. I will give the Batman content that you crave. But yeah. Thank you for listening, everybody. We'll be around. Zach, do you have a question for the Smallville gods?
I sure do, Brian. I've gone ahead and Googled what is next week's episode, and it is a Kara-centric episode. So I want to know,
Uh-oh.
Smallville gods, are we gonna are we gonna keep this watchable train rolling?
Good night, everybody.